Welcome to the home of the Chiefs podcast, where the Chiefs are our home. I am your host, as always, Clinton Petrie, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Shannon Brush. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Tired, but doing good.
How's things on the social side?
It's busy. Getting busier. So definitely something to keep in mind because it takes quite a lot of time to contribute and to think of things like that. So, but it's going good. Other than that,
good. Well, happy to see it, and look forward to the additional things that come out here in the near and distant future. So, I won't waste any extra time today. We'll go ahead and jump straight into our first segment, as always.
Chiefs Twitter news.
You usually beat me to it, so I thought I'd just let you lead the way from the beginning of it. So, as of recording, it's Friday. I'll talk about the most recent thing relating to anything within the Chiefs Kingdom is last night. Our boys Mahomes and Kelsey was out in Las Vegas playing their charity golf match against Steph and Clay. A match.
Having fun.
Talking trash.
Yep.
And the boys took home the win. If we go to Las Vegas, we're going to win, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they raised a ton of money for charity.
That's awesome.
Draymond Green and Von Miller, now of the Buffalo Bills, former Denver Bronco, was there. I've seen a lot of people kind of on the Buffalo side now saying, what the heck, why is he getting all close and buddied up with Mahomes and Kelsey? They're supposed to be rivals and stuff. So he was like, hey, I recognize gamers, dude. So
yeah.
The Von Miller has ties to here. He loves this area, and Derek Thomas was his idol. He wears 58 from Bingham. So
that's cool. That's really cool.
It's easier to root for him, I guess, as a Bill than a Bronco, but not in the playoffs and not in the individual matchup.
Yeah, true.
But I guess short story is pretty much people expected Kelsey to kind of be the worst golfer there, and he arguably was like the best or second best.
Oh, wow.
Huh. And Klay Thompson did not do Steph Curry. It was discussed. It was like Steph Curry teaching Klay Thompson how to golf.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, they killed it. Home being himself, drinking Coors in his golf cart.
Relaxing before he has to get to work.
Enjoying anything competitive. There were some quotes from it that's like, if Mahomes is yapping at you, then you lost. If he starts complimenting you, saying you're such a good player, you know you lost. He's that competitive.
That's funny.
He's petty in that regard. So. Yeah, it's cool to see them out in public and doing good things, spreading the good word.
Yeah.
It's
cool that they travel all the way to Las Vegas to do that.
Yeah, it's good to see some representation. Which, I mean, Mahomes and Kelsey are everywhere, but we'll still geek out and watch every second of whatever they're a part of because we're loyal in these parts of the world.
We diehard fans.
So, since this sort of relates to Kelsey already, the next thing I want to talk about had a lot of people upset on the interwebs, mostly because a couple of people in particular, through their Twitter accounts, they don't deserve to be named here, basically took an entire interview that Travis Kelce did for Vanity Fair magazine, and the one little section that makes it seem like he wants more money is the quote that got tossed around without all the paragraphs before and after, saying that that's not what it's all about. It's not what I care about the most.
Yeah, wow.
So I got a little ticked off at a few people. Like, stop spouting this. This isn't what he said. You're not, like, you're misinformating.
Yeah, spreading misinformation.
You're just trying to get clicks and either get diehards like us to complain and write and comment back.
Yeah, you're just trying to get engagement.
Or trying to get buzz out of anybody else and out there to think, oh, yeah, maybe you did say that. But
no.
So, does he want more money? Sure, but he's also said that that's not what it's about. I love winning. Winning is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people can go out and look for new opportunities, and they're not what that you hope them to be.
Yeah.
So that's Travis' standpoint, and
yep,
that's Mahomes' standpoint also. And we'll see about the situation with Chris Jones here in a little bit, either this summer.
Yeah,
we all are.
We're just
optimistic
eagerly
to hear
awaiting
about it, that we should hear some news about that this summer, and if we don't, then we might be in some more trouble.
Yeah.
But making him the second highest paid at his position, Travis is like the second paid tight end. Mahomes, was up there, and now everybody's pushing him down. But his contract isn't like everybody else's. His is built for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
He did the Tom Brady type of structuring to his contract to want all the years, and he knows that we're going to pay him a lot when and if he needs like an upgrade, because he's the best and you pay the top for the top.
Yeah.
Maybe he won't get the number one most money, and if the whole organization is fine with that philosophy, then we should be able to see like consistent winning for literally decade plus, if this is how the whole team can operate.
Yeah, obviously, if they don't lose that operation and the thing that makes it all work together.
Like, there's going to be players that are going to say, no, I want to leave. I want money. I want more money, or I want more opportunity. And the Chiefs are going to be very firm in whatever they offer.
Yeah.
In any degree. But they're definitely not shorting anybody. They don't, really, really, truly want to keep, really cherishes, wants to be a part of this organization long term. So,
yeah. I mean, it kind of happened with Tyreek Hill.
Right. We won't know, the full story, but to the extent of him wanting to be really high paid because he saw somebody else get really high paid, and the Chiefs made a line in the sand.
Yeah.
And we'll see. We're kind of seeing the end results of that.
Yeah, the after effects of it, which is interesting.
So, but the whole what will happen without him, we've seen it. They can manage. So it'll be interesting to see, because I'm sure the entire kingdom believes that Chris Jones is that guy that you pay to keep around for as long as possible. You want him to be outside of this uniform. But, the money's got to also be right for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But I think something will get worked out. They'll manage to find some middle ground there.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, speaking of Chris Jones, first off, he put a tweet out that he's manifesting he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Now, he had done that for some other things. He had done that to winning a Super Bowl. He'd done that to leading the league in sacks, and he was damn close for his position. So, I think that just has Chiefs Kingdom all giddy.
You pinned it on his vision board.
That's right, ladies. That way it's real now. Hey, if it works, it works. And I ain't going to argue with Chris Jones' methods and logic. And in fact, if he wants to let me know what else he's deciding, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, give us some tricks.
So, I mean, that just fires everybody up around here and expects some really good performance coming this next year. And I think that's what's made the kingdom a little more antsy as the next few weeks come up, to say, well, if he does something like that, you can't let him walk away for absolutely nothing next year. if he's that great, then pay him right now and make sure he doesn't leave the NFL in another uniform.
Yeah.
I mean, we love in times nowadays where you don't have like players staying their entire career in one place. I mean, Tom Brady didn't even do it.
Yeah.
Freaking Peyton Manning didn't even do it. So, well, I mean, NBA, LeBron's not doing
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty rare nowadays to see that.
Like, but then it will be like, well, Steph Curry, you think will never leave the Golden State Warriors, period. And that's what you have like the Mahomes and Kelsey feeling of. So
yeah, that they're locked in, they're here till retirement,
and
that's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty rare.
And you gotta think that's like a hard situation to manage when you go from being like middle aged to like at your peak, athletically getting a bunch of money, and then knowing that like 4 years later you're going to fall a little bit and then a little bit, and then at some point,
yeah, kind of like you
fall
know
off.
You've peaked at that point,
and having the self-awareness to not want
more
the money, the same
like
giant money you are already making. I want Chris to get the bag. I'm not advocating for anything like that. If the deal works for both sides, then we'll be thrilled.
Yep.
And then a quick side note about Chris Jones. He was upset on Twitter spamming Madden EA to tell them to fix his dang face.
Oh.
His face looks nothing like it. So
well, that game is awful anyway, so
hey, I'm not gonna argue.
We all know it.
As a diehard from before that, we all know that PS2 generations were about the best as they could be, and all they've done is strip things away and then try to sell it back to you. Just buy like Madden 08 and see if you can put Mahomes and Kelsey in there. Have fun in that game. So 2 quick things. I want to mention a couple birthdays that we had this week. On the 25th, it was Tershawn Wharton's birthday. Shout out, Ari, Missouri dude. Recovering from injury from last year. Get healthy.
That's right.
Training camp. Be rooting for you as always. And then 28th, which was Wednesday, the time of recording this, Creed Humphrey had his birthday.
Yep.
So he's
happy birthday, Creed.
He's still a youngster, and there was another top 25 to under 25 list set up by somebody else that was getting passed around this week, and he was number 11. But the weird thing about the list is that it was like more than a third, like quarter to a half of wide receivers. So any good player, according to this guy, and I'm not remembering his name right now, but basically had all these wide receivers.
Wow.
So that's what he thinks is the most valuable position in the NFL right now is wide receivers.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
But then we have Travis Kelce, who is a wide receiver, yet he plays tight end. He's positioned as tight end, and he makes tight end interval money. So if all of a sudden that position just died out and you had to pay Travis Kelce like he was like a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, then that the team would have to make a lot more choices further down the roster.
Yeah.
But the luxury of it being tight end, for Travis Kelce being that unicorn, they get the reward of being a not so highly valuable position. All of that in quotation marks, because I don't believe that. But
that's weird.
But like the NFL is also having a complete economic drop with running backs. We're not wanting to pay the best ones, getting rid of them as soon as you see any of the wheels fall off for them.
Wow.
It's like other positions deemed more valuable, like an offensive tackle is more valuable than Creed because he's a center, right? All that's, to argue, is Creed Humphrey more valuable to the Chiefs than, I don't know, name some wide receiver off
random guy.
some like 2-3 year rookie from another team that isn't making the playoffs at all. Right? I mean, that's all very subjective.
Yeah. It's a matter of opinion.
Well, but notice that a lot of the league is kind of going and agreeing with certain philosophies. Like 20 years ago, running backs were the thing, and you take them as many and early as you can. Now, you let your selection for running backs keep falling further into their draft. Isaiah Pacheco, Derek Prince, who's looking to make the roster for this Chiefs roster, is undrafted running back. So running back, I mean, Chiefs, we can spout all we want about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and now he's a first round running back. How it could have been T. Higgins and could have been, blah, blah, blah. But maybe we now see that transition happening all throughout, like for a period of time, in like the mid 2000s to early 2010s. You started seeing a trend of running backs would be like all the top second round choices. So even then, we've seen that slow decline of devaluing a position. But then we'll have some, flash in the pan stuff, like 2 running backs in this year's draft getting drafted in the first round. So sometimes you see everybody zigging, and then other teams try to zag, and then
they follow them.
Yeah, and then you see which strategy works the most.
That's
you watch whatever good offense there was the last year and figure out all their good plays. If you saw good defense, you mimic all your defense around that. So it's a copycat league, and Andy Reid's notorious for trying to find as many plays from different places.
Yeah.
Seeing him go back to 1940s clips to run plays.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see how this next season goes. A lot of new look teams, and especially without Juju Smith-Schuster on this team, and see which wide receiver is going to step up, who's going to be in a certain position. A lot of people online are arguing who's going to be the best wide receiver, and the easiest answer is Travis Kelce. But he doesn't count because he doesn't have WR next to his position. So, you could be on the Tony train, you can be on the Moore machine. You could be on the Ross's
roster.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But I think none of that is really relevant when you got Travis Kelce and you got Patrick Mahomes and whoever else is around there, plus Andy Reid's unique and intricate plays that he comes up with. This offense will be fine no matter who is in there. All those arguments about, oh no, what are the Chiefs going to be? All those got resolved last year. We don't have to worry about who are the wide receivers standing in places. It'll get figured out. We can make do and end up winning no matter what.
Yep.
And then on a serious note, before we end up skipping to the second segment here, yesterday, Thursday, June 29th, was the 40th anniversary of the Joe Delaney drowning. So just wanted to say rest in peace. We're all praying for you. We're very thankful for the sacrifice you gave. Your 1 year with the Chiefs was memorable, and you get celebrated every year for it, as you should.
Hero.
And gone too soon. And just thank you for the sacrifice you made. and know that it goes unforgotten here in the kingdom.
Yep.
So rest in peace, Joe Delaney. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with a second segment.
What up, KC? On the heels of yet another Kansas City Super Bowl victory, we have an awesome opportunity for you to broadcast your business to the local Kansas City market. We've created something called Kansas City Sports Company, which is a sports media hub for multiple live shows, all of which cover all the local Kansas City teams. Now, we have 30-second ad spots, 60-second ad spots, we have event sponsorships, studio sponsorships, show sponsorships, and much, much more. This is a great opportunity for you to start early with us and broadcast your business to a very dedicated, very enthusiastic Kansas City audience. Contact me or hit the Contact Us link on our website to learn more about this opportunity.
Welcome back to the second segment of the Home of the Chiefs podcast. The topic for today's second segment is a bittersweet season, to say the least.
Yeah.
Jumping off the end of the 2020 postseason, which was February 21 by the end of it, losing to Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl and letting both offensive tackles get released. Mitch Schwartz never came back to football and retired. Eric Fisher's bounced around a little bit, but hasn't been the same since his injuries. So
Yeah.
going into that offseason, a little bit of the kingdom was worried. Oh no, what are we going to do? How are we going to fix our offensive line? Blah, 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 blah. And we saw that Brett Veach saw that and said, hold my beer, and tried to fix everything in one offseason and nearly did it. So he'd signed Joe Thuney to a big contract for an offensive guard, and I'm sure a lot of the kingdom was thinking, why would you pay that money to a guard? And then we've seen him play. And we know the answer because he's a robot. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't miss games. He rarely gets hurt.
Yeah.
He never misses snaps. He's a machine. So good to have him there. And then just before the first night of the NFL draft, the Chiefs trade their first round pick and get a bunch of flippity-flop picks from the Ravens to get Orlando Brown Jr. to play left tackle for them, because that was his dream to do that. And he had only played left tackle for like the end of that coming season and maybe a little bit season before, if my memory serves me right. But he was coming in, and essentially everyone was thinking he's coming in to play a position that he has not really practiced at long term. It's a position he wants to play in, but he's not as experienced with it, so it'll be a learning curve. But I think most of the kingdom was thinking, okay, so this tells you that they have more faith in what they think they can do with Orlando Brown Jr. versus trying to have a tackle in the first round of the draft that is available where they can get to and have a player that can start right away. So that was kind of the thinking about that is there's not going to be a good enough player. And we've seen Orlando Brown within the NFL. We can work with it.
Yeah.
So first round they don't have a choice because they traded that for Orlando Brown. They have 2 second round selections, and thank you, Baltimore, for basically being our future for a little bit. We get Nick Bolton with our first selection. Madison can be a test of how great he is. And then we just discussed him in the first segment earlier. Creed Humphrey is also in the second round.
Yep.
So the Chiefs took a first round pick and I think maybe like a late third and turned it into Orlando Brown Jr., Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
haul.
They killed it.
I could go back and get all the other picks for that draft, but know that the Chiefs killed it, and all the doubt that had been there previously about Brett Veach and his whiff some draft picks and overreaching for some other kind of guys and things of that nature.
Doing some things that would be questioned by other people, like, why is he doing that?
Yeah, just picking players at certain points because you think that's what you have to do versus following what your normal your normal routine.
Mm-hmm. The norm,
following your board is what they
comforting.
call it. You sort out players in certain order and you don't deviate from that no matter what. Yep. So hold on. But one notable is the 6th rounder who plays next to Creed the whole time, and we love him as his pancake specialist. Trey Smith plays right alongside of him.
Yep.
So that got him in the 6th round. So that's a freaking steal right there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like I said, Nick Bolton was picked 58. Creed Humphrey was the second to last pick, the 2nd round. Let's see while I get some others. So 3rd rounders, they traded away. They got other players for that. Joshua Kingdom in the 4th round. That's kind of that's an up in the air pick right now. I won't say anything about him. Noah Gray in the 5th round. We talked about him as the baby Kelsey in some occurrences. He's flashed. I think like with another year or two within the system. If he is as athletic as the Chiefs thought he would be, then he could definitely take some of those Travis Kelce snaps and blend in as if he was.
Yeah.
Cornell Powell, he didn't quite make the roster. Trey Smith, I just discussed. That was a freaking steal of a pick. So just with that draft alone, they struck on 3 players that contribute to this team right now and got one more that made immediate impact for the Chiefs. So
yeah,
that was a really good draft for the Chiefs. And then, as we know, next year's the year following in 2022 will be even better, and like all of the picks contribute. But that was a good immediate turnaround. They had Lucas Niang starting that year, but then we saw it be Andrew Riley, and say what you will about him and his performance. He did his job. He did enough whenever she's asked him. Last year, the actual Super Bowl win says enough about those 2 tackles that they rode for the last 2 years. Were they the best and all that? No, but they were enough that they can continue to maintain what they were already doing.
Yeah.
So, roster is set, training camp occurs. First time being in Arrowhead Stadium again. There was like one, preseason game at the end of August, but we won't count that. So, first game back that Sunday afternoon, hosting the Cleveland Browns. What was your feelings that day?
It was different. I was still kind of a little bit nervous, like because of COVID and everything, because like I didn't want to get sick, but it was honestly like it wasn't bad because we all had our masks on in the concourse and everything. And like the pro shop made you have the mask on, but like a lot of people were still wearing their masks in the concourse, even in their seats. I didn't wear mine the whole time in my seat. I tried, but like yelling and everything, I like eventually I took it off. But I was excited to be back, a little nervous, ready to kick some butt because we just came off of that Super Bowl loss, and we were ready to get back into it and see what this team could do.
So just yeah, my kind of gut reaction was just, I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah.
For the first little bit of this year, it was kind of not quite back to what I'm used to in terms of the energy and
Mm-hmm.
who's around and how they're acting towards each other and stuff.
It definitely was an adjustment to go back to things being kind of normal after having a year of like not being that way. So
And the last year that we were just at, the 2022 season, it was pretty much like everything's exactly back to normal, except they still don't want you to pay for the cash. They still want.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever go back.
So they made some alterations, but they made sure that by this last year that things are getting back to a normalcy again. So yeah, I agree. It was kind of adjustment. You were half wondering how you should be acting.
Yeah.
So
my thing was just like me yelling and trying to be as loud as possible without like spitting on other people. Trying my hardest.
So some notable games that occurred at home was they lost against the Chargers at first in the third week of the season, the second game at home.
Yeah,
it was very confusing. There was a lot of interceptions, and
that's right.
We're going to see some more of that here. The next notable game is that Buffalo Bills game where they came in and it was a monsoon, and the game was less than half over, and they delayed it for 2 hours.
That's right.
They were playing bad and they didn't look right, so we just, sorry fans, we left. We
left
did not have the
like
equipment to stand around in soaking rain. So a lot of mistakes were made by the Chiefs that game and lost that one by double digits. And then not at home, but that Tennessee Titans game when they only put up 3 total points. And they were 4-4.
They were struggling.
They were 4-4 at that point in the season, and there was some real concerns. Like, so nobody here thought this team can't make the playoffs or win anything, but online pundits were getting a little concerned.
Yeah.
So they rattle off wins. They get lucky that Aaron Rodgers isn't playing in green against us because he had the COVID. So they got that.
That's true.
A couple games were like defensive slugfests, like the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys games that happened in Arrowhead. We put up a combined 89 points against the Raiders in the 2 games we played them. So no love lost against Las Vegas is there. Handled Denver. The Chargers in that Thursday night, we got to see a repeat ending of that game last year where Travis Kelce walks it off and wins it for him.
Yeah.
That was an overtime. This year was last seconds of the game, but same song, different chorus.
Yeah.
And then, the last notable good part was that following Christmas game. We took former alum Madison to that.
Right.
And actually got to have her next to us.
Right. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
It was a fun experience to be there around Christmas time in this last year when we go into it.
Yeah, they had like a little hot chocolate bar that they made just for like the Christmas game. And it was so cute. It was like all like winter themed. It was adorable. And then they had Christmas music playing. I love it.
Hadn't been there like during actual Christmas time, so that was fun to experience. And it's like, oh, we're gonna hang out as a family. Nope, sorry, I gotta go see my Chiefs Kingdom family this day.
It's gonna happen again this year too.
Probably. So then it was the beginning of 2022, the calendar year, and it was The loss against the Cincinnati Bengals, the first time that's
Yeah.
allowing all of them to gloat about how good their team is. And then we go into the postseason. We get that wild card game where they just whooped the Pittsburgh Steelers like they sold them. Fat guy touchdown in the second quarter. Not even, it looked like, what the heck is my team doing in like that first like 7 minutes of the game, and then they just
That's a lot
beat the
of their
doors
games.
off. Yep.
I've realized that they're not a first quarter team. And you just got to realize that, because it's like, oh, what they do in the first quarter, that doesn't really matter
Yep.
most of the time.
And then we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about where we were during the 13 seconds
Oh my.
for Buffalo. We were back and forth on that game. When we saw the Chiefs score the touchdown, I'm not going to remember the timestamp at this point, but
It was like,
it was prior to Buffalo scoring their one and only score at the end to
Like
get
a
it
few
to
minutes
36.
yeah.
But we'd seen Tyreek take his slant all the way. When we walked out, high five people saying, see y'all next week.
Yep.
Did not know that Tennessee was going to lose and the second seed would end up hosting the game, or not even the events that transpired. So
Yeah.
walking out of the stadium, I'm scrambling to put on my radio broadcast of it. And like, we're getting away, we're going towards the car, and it's like,
walking towards the car.
and it's like, and Buffalo scored. They have the lead.
And we're like, what?
So, if memory serves me right, we were lucky enough that by the time they had the ball again and we're trying to get into field goal range, we were like by and into the car.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
we weren't even out of the parking lot when Mitch Holthus was yelling, Harrison Butker's going to get a field goal attempt. And we're like, what? There was 13 seconds and we're in field goal range. And okay, cool. Let's do it. He makes it. Woo! So we're like, okay, so we just left. The game's going on, but it's not in our hands anymore.
Yep.
So win the coin toss. I get the ball. Suck it. We go all the way down the field and score and celebrate. Woo, 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 woo. We live to fight another day.
Yep.
Cincinnati upsets Tennessee, and that sets up a rematch in Kansas City that year. Well, we know the ending to that game. The first half was a dominant performance, and then we can all speculate what occurred. Did Mahomes, something happen to him? Did the coaches decide running the ball isn't an accurate strategy?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the case may be, but they had a defense that day that the second half of that game, they showed up when they needed to.
Yeah.
They scored just enough points. It shows over the games that they have played that it's literally been only 3 points every single game to pick a winner. So all of these games are 3-point margins. And this game was no different, and the 2022's games were no different.
Wow.
So they were learning after that game, or midway through, that this is a team that's going to hang around no matter what.
Yeah.
If they got Joe Burrow, he'll figure out what he can do to stay in the game. And they were doing fine defensively that first half to them, but they just couldn't sustain it. They got enough plays their way, and the Chiefs made enough mistakes on their part to not fully win or put away a game like they'd like to.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have that downside of not being as ruthless as they could, not putting their foot down on the throat and winning by 30 points if they have
Mhm.
to.
Yep.
Andy Reid is a little more respectful than that. So, that tells the team y'all cannot afford to give up anything to another team, because if
Mhm.
they've got somebody as good as a Burrow, as a Josh Allen, as a Herbert,
Yeah.
they can figure out how to win just as much as we can. So, Super Bowl 57, the ending of that was a prime example. They seen Jalen Hurts beating their defense up and down the field, and they said, well, the only way to win is to make sure we're holding the ball for as long as possible to the very end, to
Yep.
the last very seconds, and then put the ball up.
Yep.
That's what the Bengals did in this 2021 Week 17 matchup, where they held the ball to the very, very, very end to kick the field goal to win on their half.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Chiefs did against the Bengals last AFC Championship game, and did it to the Eagles this last Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
they learned their strategy. They almost regret that the 13 seconds had to occur, because Tyreek Hill was so good and scored immediately instead of
Yeah.
just sitting on it for a while and sitting on it.
Yeah.
But we know that the team came back and they regrouped and they were ready for 2022.
Oh, definitely.
And it had some bumps in the road. It had some not good looks, and we're going to get into that next week's episode of the 2022 season. But let 2021 be a lesson in how to handle adversity and how to stay focused, even during some times where it's hard to lose. It's easy to lose your focus.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So thank you all for joining us for the Home of the Chiefs podcast, presented by KC Sports Company. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Chiefs!